So I'm going to go over just a little bit of time, but I'm going to tell you real quickly the very basics of how to tell a story. In Pixar, if you Google the Pixar story spine, that's a great place to start. They have some fantastic guidance for how to build whatever you're talking about into a story. But here's an even simpler way, right? So with your story, construct it around change. So first you say, before things changed, here's the way things were. Before this thing that I'm going to tell you about, this is what life was like. And then you talk about what is the thing that happened to cause that change. And then you say, because of that change, this happened, right? So for me, in the story I told about flying earlier, I'm talking about the day that I was flying around, and my vision started to get dim, and I started to be a little bit confused. And then this thing happened. That thing was, I remembered the story that I heard before, and because of that, I turned the oxygen 100% and I survived. It's structured in a way that leads you to change. And there are, whether you're telling a story about bubble ones or about flying or about, I know I've used story in some of my personal experiences from being deployed and helping to process through those. This is a powerful way to communicate that. When you tell the story, there's a great TED talk by Ted Lieber, and that's the sort of the V shape that you see in the bottom left there. And he talks about sort of the happiness of the character, right? That it starts out on a pretty even basis, and then the character goes into some deep low, and then learns something about themselves, and then comes back out at the top. And then that little curly Q is where you tie up all the loose ends. And when I look at our world today, whether it's the pandemic or it's social injustice or it's the financial crisis, I think a lot of us are in the very bottom. Hopefully we're at the bottom and it doesn't get worse, right? But we're at the very bottom of that V. And now it's a time to envision, what does the rest of that story look like? What do I need to do in order to have this climb out and then wrap it up at the top? And I think those are the most transformative stories that are the toughest to tell, but are the most powerful for folks that are that you're trying to communicate with. So we have,
and one of my,
please.
Wait, one
Yeah, please.
quote that I forgot her name, but the quote is, at any point in your life, you can say, "This is not how my story ends."
Yes.
I love that quote because it gives us power on what's happening and what the future will be, right? And it goes directly in that storytelling. Sometimes, they